Hey, welcome in. Welcome to DomTime. Let's go to your callers here in the Trayvon Martin aftermath. Let's go to Michael, who's waiting in Philadelphia. Michael, thanks for the call. Go right ahead.
I think he should go to jail. Beyond the fact that I'll be 60 years old, 24th of November. I had young guys confront me, but you got to be the bigger person, go to the older person, overlooked at. But he didn't do it. The cop told him not to do anything. He took matters on hand, so he should go to jail for killing that young boy.
Well, Michael, what do you say to this? Is played out in court, and whether it was not appropriate what he did or not, it's not criminal.
But it still won't justify what he done.
All righty. Well, thank you, Michael. George, one development today, and there's a Philadelphia, the storied Beasley law firm now is going to be involved, and this is an issue you've been particularly sensitive to, and I am, and Christine's in the media too, where NBC was caught doctoring that 911 call, and I bet a lot of people may be watching tonight and others, all they saw was the initial thing where George Zimmerman, you lay it out what he was said to have said on NBC and what he really said that they spliced and cut.
Okay, well, on the NBC broadcast, and they broadcast this over and over and over again, they took the 911 tape and they spliced it so that it had George Zimmerman calling 911 to report someone in his neighborhood, and then he said he's black, as if that was why Zimmerman was calling to report this young man. When you listen to the 911 tape, what NBC took out was he calls 911 and he says there's a guy here. He doesn't look right. He looks like he's on something. It's raining, and yet he's walking around looking into houses. And then the 911 operator says, well, give me a description. Is he white? Is he black? And then Zimmerman says he's black. Well, by cutting out all of the reasons why Zimmerman was calling and by cutting out the question from the 911 operator, NBC made it seem like the only reason that Zimmerman called was because Martin was black. Totally misleading, and frankly, it was that kind of reporting, not just by NBC, but a lot of the other mainstream media outlets that ginned up this fever that we have, this hysteria throughout the country, and caused the kind of mob frenzy that we have now.
I agree with you. When NBC, we're not talking about bloggers in their mom's basement or something, goes to this trouble, some of them have been fired, et cetera, but Beasley is very tough, and I think there's going to be a major win here. And this shows you this defense team is not over, that the very day after or so after this big decision, they're immediately putting this out there.
Yeah, and look, I hope Zimmerman winds up owning NBC Universal.
Let's go to Karen. Karen, thanks. Welcome to DomTime. What's your comment?
My question is, how is it that someone can get out their car and follow someone, which is really called stalking, and kill them, and then say that they feared their life?
Okay.
I mean, this young man was walking down the street being...
Okay, well, let George answer that for you, George.
Well, on the 911 tape, you have Zimmerman talking to the operator, and he is out of his car, and he says, this guy, meaning Martin, is coming towards me. Yes, he's definitely checking me out. And then he takes off running, and you can hear Zimmerman breathing heavily as he's trying to follow him. And the 911 operator says, are you following him? And Zimmerman says, yes. And the operator says, we don't need you to do that. At which point Zimmerman says, okay. And he heads back towards his car, and he's discussing with the operator a location where he can meet with the responding police officer. Now, between that point and the point when the confrontation with Martin takes place, there's 4 minutes. There are 4 missing minutes. So even if he had followed Martin at one point, according to the tape, he had broken off the pursuit, and 4 minutes later he winds up on the ground with Martin on top of him, beating him. So the intervening 4 minutes, we have no idea what happened, but what we do know is there came a point when Zimmerman was being hurt badly, and he had to resort to deadly force.
Christine, when you write about this tomorrow, I think in my sense we've seen in the Daily News and Inquirer somewhat the emotionality of this, and I'm sure you're going to try to take the legal part of this, but it seems as if people can't get past that and they just think these are pieces of paper. Someone's dead, someone should go to jail.
Well, that's exactly what it is, and it's not just someone, it's someone's son, someone's young son. And the problem, again, that I keep coming back to, I understand the emotion of the situation, but we are a country of laws, and that sounds trite, and that sounds like a slogan, but unless we are, and unless justice is blind, we're not going to be able to see clearly. And this whole idea of the Justice Department now going after and trying to get a second bite at this rotten apple is very troubling because of what George said and what you said as well. This idea, this sense of vengeance. It's almost like the pitchforks are being held high.
And when this doesn't work, as I predict it won't work, the expectations will be let down even more. We'll read you in the Philadelphia Daily News tomorrow and every Friday. And George, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us here on both DomTime and on the radio. Coming up, my own take on the day's events here as DomTime continues. Hey, my last minute here on DomTime. I think it's instructive to take a look at what came out of the Trayvon Martin case ongoing. For me, plus side, there were no riots. I know that seems to be a small thing. There were some people who disrupted in Oakland, Portland. There were any number of people that showed their true colors by their excessiveness, and the media let us down. You just heard George Perry lay out the case, and you're going to see a major, major lawsuit against NBC Universal. And they deserve it. It was shameful what was done here, and I don't think America got the full story of what was going on in that courtroom every day. This is a very difficult case, and it's true. It provokes another conversation about race and how different people see things and the lives that they live. We plan to continue talking about it every night, Monday through Friday here, 7 p.m. Thanks for joining us tonight on DomTime.